Hey everybody, this is Nicole. Welcome to my blog. This is the first post on it. You've probably been to my website as well. It's NicoleKipp.com. There's a video on there that showcases some things that I'm doing with horses that are currently in training with me, as well as my own horses. That being said, most of these videos are taken with tablet or smartphone, so bear with me. My videography skills are not that strong. My horse training skills and working with horses skills are significantly better, I promise. So that being said, I want to give you a little bit of background on who I am, where I come from, and what my principles are. I started riding when I was very little. I went into lessons when I was 6. My dad had a horse that he had been riding my entire life, and he put him in training with my trainer, who was a hunter jumper trainer, and so I learned with her for many years. I got most of my foundation from her. She also brought in dressage principles, so I did jumping and dressage for I think 10 years or so, primarily with her. I also had a couple other dressage trainers that I worked with. During that time, I also got some experience on an Arabian breeding facility, so I got to work with babies, mares, stallions, and saw that side of horses, as well as worked on Arapaho racetrack. So I worked a lot with hotter breeds. My first horse was an Arabian. I worked with Arabians, I worked with thoroughbreds and the hotter quarter horses and Arabians on the racetrack. And then I also had the opportunity to work with Tennessee Walkers. I worked at a Tennessee Walker farm. So I worked with those horses, and that's a totally different world from the hotter breeds. The gaited world is definitely a little different. And then I worked with Andalusians, qualified for World in the junior division at that point with a little gelding in Western Pleasure. I didn't get the opportunity to go because I was also starting my first semester at college that year, so I skipped out on the World's show and decided to go to college. When I was up there, I worked with a dressage trainer for 2.5 years. She was very good. I learned a lot from her. I learned on an Appaloosa, who is not your big fancy warm blood, but she really taught me a lot about how collection is a principle that can be applied to any horse, any breed, and any discipline. And I really use it all the time in my training. Whether you've got a trail horse or a Western Pleasure horse or a reining horse or a cow horse or a jumper, any of those kinds of horses, any horse really, can benefit from true collection. And so I bring those principles in quite a bit into what I do. When I moved back south, I had the opportunity to end up at a team penning and sorting facility, and I worked with team penning horses and sorting horses, cow horses ultimately. I learned a lot from working with cattle horses. They are very different. They've got some strong instincts, they know their job, and the way that those horses can move is incredible. So I'm still working with a team penning and sorting mare now. I actually do team penning and sorting locally with the RMTPA Association and with my Appaloosa gelding, who doesn't particularly like it, but he works really hard and he's actually pretty good at it, so it gives me some chances to see what I can do with cows and learn that world farther. I also work with some draft horses right now, including a draft horse stallion. His name is Big Guy. He's a Shire stallion. You'll probably see some blogs, pictures, links to his website as well on my website, so you can see what his deal is and what he looks like. He's beautiful, so by all means check him out. So basically my philosophy when it comes to horses is that every horse can benefit from a strong foundation. They need principles, they need a language, you need that language with your horse. They need collection and correctness, obedience, all of those sorts of things. I have a strong emphasis with Parelli Natural Horsemanship. Don't close the video. A lot of people don't like hearing that, and I'm not entirely certain why. I can understand it sometimes, but the Parelli Natural Horsemanship training method, they really focus on horse behavior and what makes a horse tick, and when they tick, what to do about it. That's really my focus with horses, and that'll be my focus with your horse and yourself, particularly if you've got a problem horse or areas of concern where you're not really sure what to do or how to react. We'll really talk about why your horse behaves that way and what you can do to deal with the behavior before it even shows up, and then if you can't catch it soon enough, how to deal with it once it's there. Natural horsemanship in general, I think, is a fantastic way to work with your horses. It gives you a language, it gives you an understanding of where they're coming from. We're predators, they're prey animals. They think differently than we do. So as humans, in order to have a good foundation, a good relationship with our horse, we really need to try to understand where they're coming from. So that's what I try to teach. I try to teach how a horse thinks, why they react the way they do. Why won't my horse cross water? Why won't they get in the trailer? Why won't they bridle up correctly? Why won't they collect? Why do they go faster when I want to go slower and slower when I want to go faster? It's all about language, and it's all about communication and understanding. And once you have that with your horse, you guys can do anything. I can do dressage one day on my Appaloosa and go chase cows the next day. It's all about getting that foundation. So that's what I'll focus on. If you send a horse to me for training, I will focus on the language and giving them a little bit of insight into the human world. I'll also put a lot of foundation on them so that they've got strong cues, things that never go away no matter how long you have them. You can go pull them out of the pasture, and if you need to stop, you can stop. If you need to back them up, you can back them up. If you want to go, you can go. Those things, that foundation, when it's solidly there, it doesn't matter how long that horse has been out of commission or in a pasture. It's still there. So that's what I really focus on when I have horses in training. And then if you want to keep them in training with me, I like to bring the human aspect in. Once the foundation is there, it's all about the relationship between you and your horse. It's about getting your communication skills up. It's about getting your skills with horses up. And then it's all about your seat when you want to ride. How do you sit? How do you direct? How do you cue them? All of that really dictates the success that you have with your horse. So we'll do a lot of that as well. I really suggest a horse-human combination. It's not always the horse's fault. It's not always the human's fault. So I really strongly encourage people to put their horse into training for a little while at least, and then learn those principles yourself. And then the two of you can grow together, and once you start doing that, you can go anywhere with horses, and you can do anything. And they become a joy and not a fear or an obligation or just another tool out in the shed. So let me know if you have questions. Send me an email. Send me a text message if you're comfortable doing that. You can call me. My phone number's on the website, but it's 303-931-1307. If it ever changes, I'll update this blog. And then my email address is Nicole, NICOLESW @yahoo.com, or NBKIP10. So N, and then B as in Brienne, Kipp, KIPP, at 10 at gmail.com. So you can get a hold of me that way as well. I look forward to hearing from you and hearing about where you're coming from with your horse, what you'd like to achieve, and where you'd like to go. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.